Welcome to this week's edition of the Sports Scoop Coaches Show. Joining me is JWP head boys basketball coach, Theodore Teddy Hammond.
Oh, my Lord.
How we doing this morning, Ted?
Doing great. Looking for Hafe. Where's Hafe? Where's Hafe? I'm looking for Hafe. Where is he? Poor guy. He came from LeSueur looking for his buddy, his first cousin. His name is, well, take a guess, okay? He's a snowman, right? Okay.
Frosty.
Nice, call Whitey. Frosty sounds good. Okay, we got lots of stuff to go through today.
Well, let's start out with boys basketball, Teddy. And you opened up the year 1-1, and you were scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the points disappeared. You lost to TCU 58-42. You lost to Cleveland 76-42 during the week. So tell us what happened.
Offense took a vacation.
Okay.
And the defense did too. But
not a good combination.
No, not a good combination. We said going into the year we're going to have to find points, and it looked like we found them first two games. We averaged about 70-some points a game. And then we went to TCU on Thursday night, and unfortunately we just couldn't score against their man-to-man. We had some really good quality shots, and they just wouldn't go down. We had a lot of them, a lot of cupcakes underneath, I call them, where, like 5 feet on in, point blank, and we must have missed like 12 of them. I mean, I'd watched the tape, and a couple of them were emblematic of the game when we went down and missed two little bunnies, and then they came down and scored two, so it was like an 8-point swing, and then they got it up to about, at one time 18, we got it down to 8 in the fourth quarter, but second half, and then they put it away. But they got the team that, a lot of their athletes were on the football team that went to state, and they're starting to round into basketball for them now. We played them tough for a while, and then just couldn't score. That's basically it. And then defensively, obviously, you get frustrated on offense, then defense sometimes takes a little vacation. But on that night, they were the better team. And they had a point guard that didn't play when I scouted them on Tuesday night, and they got beat by Glencoe Silver Lake by 2 points. And then on Thursday night, when we play them, I figured I had a great scouting report. And Wednesday, went over everything in practice that we were going to try to do, and just quite work out. But they played tough man-to-man, and we played well, and our man offense just couldn't score. That was basically the game. So we went from, we had Brandon Sack was averaging in the low 20s, and then they kind of shut him down for the game. And then let's see, I guess Brandon still came up with 11, but he was the only guy in double figures. So all in all, it wasn't a good start there. But then on Friday night, I thought, well, Cleveland, we usually beat Cleveland. Yep. And they got the real deal. They went to state in football, and they got 3 sophomores that start. And they have a good complement of teams. Well, it went from an aggressive man-to-man from Thursday night. They pack in a zone. I shouldn't say pack it in. They've got these big 6'3" guys at the point on a 1-3-1. And they just take away our passing lanes. And we really had a chance to work on the zone because we were getting ready for TCU. The zone just shut us down. We were impatient. We had a lot of deflections where we didn't pass fake like we should have. We just threw the ball right in their hands or off their feet. And another poor shooting night. The biggest thing on that game was the rebounding. I probably shouldn't even bring this up, but we talked at the beginning of the season it's going to be defense and rebounding. We have to really key on those. And rebounding was, 47-19.
Ouch.
I know. There's no way you're going to win a ball game when you're getting out-rebounded by almost 30. And they were not any bigger than us, really, but they were just a little more athletic, and they wanted the ball more than we did. And when you're playing a zone, they always talk about a zone is a lousy way to rebound because you don't know what guy you're supposed to block out. Well, they obviously did a good job blocking out because they ended up with 30 defensive rebounds. So Cleveland, they're undefeated, and deservedly so because the teams they've been playing are not that tough a team yet, but looking down the road, they could be a big factor in the conference now.
But you did have one good defensive highlight against the Clippers.
Which was?
You shut down Mr.
Kopet, yeah. Kopet, whichever way you want to pronounce it. But that was our goal. Is to cut off the head and the body dies. But unfortunately, I had about 4 more guys that went into double figures. We did have a good game from Josh Janicki. Josh is going to be probably our point guard. He started off the bench first couple of games and deserved the right to start. And he can go to the bucket anytime he wants. We just got to get the rebounding shored up a little bit. And then defensively, we're probably going to do some different things now. We've been trying man-to-man. And we just, full court man-to-man against a team that has weak guards are okay. But if they got some good guards, we're not getting any turnovers at all. So we might have to work things out there. We might go to some little gadget defense. I'm looking at them right now because we got a whole week off. Again, we don't play till Saturday, and then we go to Loyola. And Loyola just got done going in overtime with St. Clair, so they're for real this year. So if we're going to want to be a good team, you got to beat a good team, and Loyola's going to be a good team on Saturday. And then I always say, if we're going to go anywhere in the playoffs, got to go through a parochial school, and Loyola's a good parochial school in our area to play. So we get maybe a better reading. But right now, we had 2 good games, and we had 2 kind of busts. So this is going to be not the equalizer, we're going to be the tiebreaker. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Bulldogs 1-3 play Saturday at Loyola. NRHEG got their first win of the season last week. They lost to LeSueur 69-59 on Tuesday, and then bounced back against Faribault BA on Friday and defeated the Cardinals 66-41. And I've noticed the one returning factor that we see every game, of at least the first 3 games, is Oakley Baker lighting up the scoreboard. He's had, I believe, over 25 in all 3 of the first Panther games.
Mm-hmm. He's picked up where he left off.
They will be back in action Monday at Kenyon. Pat Churchill's crew has a tough schedule at the start of the year. WEM 4-0 for the year. Jeff Wagner's crew, they defeated Belle Plaine, 58-54 in a close game. And after I saw Belle Plaine play against Waseca yesterday, I wonder how in the world that was a close game for Wags.
That's what I was wondering too, but I found out why.
Why?
You didn't see Narveson, the big quarterback from Belle Plaine.
Yeah, but why would that make them stay close?
Because according to Wags, he played against Waterville.
Oh, okay.
And he wasn't even on the bench. I didn't see him in the stands.
No, he wasn't dressed.
No, so that's obviously a factor right there.
Okay. And then the Bucks defeated Blooming Prairie 76-51 on Friday to go to 4-0. And boy, we're getting excited because Tuesday's one of those border battles that we love. Undefeated Waseca at undefeated WEM. That should be a good one.
Well, last year, remember, Waseca was going to just take them out, no problem, a little small city. And did we beat New Richland or Waterville last year?
No.
No, we didn't.
Waseca better not think that way anymore, because over the last 6-7 years, Waterville and New Richland have probably beaten Waseca more than they've beaten them.
So we can't be looking by anybody. But at the same time, Wags was scouting yesterday, and he got a good scouting report.
Okay.
Well, did you see us talking to each other?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what we're talking about?
No.
Our hip replacements. We don't need to talk basketball. Let's talk about hip replacements.
And Waseca, the Blue Jays are off and running, Teddy. They've won 6 straight to start the year, and there hasn't been a close game in the bunch. They beat St. Peter's 76-55 on Tuesday. They beat Fairmont 76-55. How many times you see the exact same score in 2 games?
That's a good question.
On Friday, and then they beat Belle Plaine 75-37 yesterday afternoon. I did some quick math work, Teddy.
Yep.
The Blue Jays are averaging their victories by 22 points. Average to start the year.
I wish.
And we also on Friday night had Mr. Nick Dufault erupting for 44 points against Fairmont. And I understand he hit something like 18 of 24 shots from the floor.
According to Ann Kaiser, that's what it was.
Okay.
I'm going by Ann.
Well, I was going to say he shot the bunch on Friday, because yesterday, as I watched him against Belle Plaine, I think he was about 1 for 15 the first half.
He was getting roughed up pretty well.
He had 6 points at halftime, 4 from the line, and then, of course, he comes out in the second half and hit 3 or 4 threes, so Nick can shoot the ball.
He has no limit.
No.
You can pull up from about 6 feet behind the arc, and you got to contest. And when you contest, he drives you, and then goes the line, and he's a real package.
So it'll be some great matchups on Tuesday at Waterville. Of course, Mr. Zach Olson in the pivot will be going against, I imagine, Jake Guzzi, who runs the floor really well and gets on the lead end of some fast breaks. I love that about him. He gets up and down the floor in a hurry.
Yeah, he and Carter yesterday had a couple of combination plays there when Belle Plaine was in his zone. They had a little high-low. It looked really good.
And, of course, Caleb Nelson and Doofy have proven that they're going to score every night. So be a great. That'll be on the radio Tuesday. Waseca at WEM.
A little cold strike. Okay, he had a nice 3 out there and play some good D. Nice complement of players they've got.
Yeah. Girls basketball, JWP, they're off to a slow start as well, Teddy. They lost to Cleveland 45-37. and they lost to Blooming Prairie 56-42 during the week. They dropped to 1-3 for the year.
At least we each got to win.
Each got to win. The Bulldogs will be off until Thursday when Alden Conger comes to Janesville. NRHEG, the Panthers off to a 2-0 start. They defeated TCU 84-58 in their opener, and then knocked off a pretty decent Fairmont team 62-52 yesterday. So they are 2-0, and rah-rah, another rivalry on Tuesday night. NRHEG at Waseca, both undefeated.
There you go. Joni loves those games.
That'll be fun. WEM, they've played only one game, gave Howard's crew so far. They defeated Belle Plaine 64-29. They had the whole week off to practice. Tuesday night they traveled to Jordan, and I think they'll be pretty respectable this year with Tierney Winter and a number of others back from a year ago.
And Jordan should be too with their volleyball program they've got.
And Waseca, Joni Conway's crew, probably a little surprising. They are 3-0 for the year. They defeated Lourdes 61-58 in a close game on the road Tuesday. Then went down to Fairmont on Friday night and defeated the Cards 55-47. So you look at, if you want to look at comparative scores, Waseca beat Fairmont by 8 and NR beat them by 10. So we should have a great game on Tuesday night between those two schools.
That's quite the way you look at that. Yeah,
well, all coaches do that, don't they?
Not me.
Don't you?
No. You never know what team's going to show up.
Okay, boys hockey. The Blue Jays got their first win of the year. They're 1-2 for the season. They defeated Fairmont 5-1 on Thursday night. Made the long trip to Laverne yesterday and lost 6-2. So the Jays are 1-2 for the year. Guess what? Tuesday, all they have to do is travel to Worthington.
Oh, on a school night. On a school bus.
The girls hockey team, they are 2-4-1 overall. They had a tough week. They lost to Century 5-0. They lost to Hutchinson 10-0.
Oh my God!
Hutch is ranked in the state, I know, and Kyle said we were just outmatched completely that game. They will also go down to Worthington on Tuesday for the old boy-girl double dip.
Yep, love those. Better them than me. I want to go back, just backtrack a little bit. Let's go back up the teleprompter there.
Yep.
The girls, whatever you call it. The girls had an 8th grader against Lourdes, had 12 points.
Yep.
You know the name?
Amy Potter. Hannah Potter.
Yeah, Amy Potter, yeah.
Amy and Matt are in the stands.
Yes, they are. Unbelievable. 8th grader and 12 points, and I guess they have no 9th grade team. So the whole 8th grade, they had the choice of either staying in 8th grade, playing the junior high schedule. They could all move up and play the varsity, not varsity, but the high school schedule. And I guess all the girls in 8th grade opted, so there is no 8th grade team this year, which is kind of unusual for a school our size. But at the same time, here's an 8th grader now looking like she's varsity material already. It helps a lot with girls. See, they come along a little faster than the guys, and that's looking good for Joni.
Well, I'll tell you, got my first look at the Waseca girls Friday.
Right.
Hannah Potter and Gus Boyer are both 8th graders. They play a lot of minutes.
Okay.
9th graders.
Gus is her name?
That's what they list her as.
Okay.
Gus.
All right.
9th grader is Madison Galoff, and she is without a doubt their top scorer.
Yep.
And a young Hyam girl is a 9th grader and plays a lot of action as well. So.
And the Carson sisters.
The Carson sisters are juniors.
Yep.
Yeah, they got Taylor Hiller. She is
the real deal.
Sophomore, maybe.
I'm not sure.
And they all play a lot, so yeah, you gotta be smiling deep down.
Cupboard's pretty well stocked.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Our gymnastics team, Teddy, and you won't believe it.
What?
I've got some results.
Oh my God, Scott! You do Scott? Scott's from UW Stout. You knew that, right?
Scott Young
was.
Scott was going to step down this year after a long, long time of leading the gymnasts, and they talked him back.
Okay.
And to show for it, he has one senior and all kinds of 7th and 8th graders. So he said, it'll take us a while. They lost their opener to Byron. I think they only scored about 120.
Okay.
And you like to be at 135 to 40.
For your gymnastics aficionados out there, you can give them help a little. Give them some help.
And they went to a 6-team meet at Mankato yesterday and finished 4th out of the 6 teams and scored up about 123 or 4. So they're already showing improvement after 2 meets. And
have you been to a meet lately?
No, I haven't, Ted. Have you?
Well, last time I went, I pitched a tent to get the final score. I think they got done like about 8:30, 8:45, and we got the score about midnight. It was unbelievable.
Well, that's why I can't go, Ted. I need a scoreboard in front of me so I can look, observe, and walk out. I can't wait for results.
Not going to work there. No way.
Wrestling teams, Teddy, NRHEG, they are 2-2 for the season. They defeated Blooming Prairie 42-27, and I saw that match was 20. It was like a 2 or 3 point match, and Blooming Prairie had to forfeit the last 2 weights.
Oh, jeez. So, I hate that in wrestling.
Yeah. They were down at St. James yesterday, and I couldn't find anything on that in a big tournament at St. James. Thursday, they will be at Pine Island.
Okay. Speaking of the forfeits, when we talk about wrestling, I saw in the paper where a guy from Mankato East, he won all 3 matches. All of them were forfeits.
Never read.
They didn't have a guy that had that weight that was any good. So thinking there you are 3-0 and you haven't even been on the mat yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. The Grizzlies, WMJWP, they're off to an 0-2 start. They held a triangular at home on Tuesday. They lost to Waseca 44-30, and they lost to LeSueur 36-30. Okay. Then they went down to Blue Earth yesterday. I believe there's 10 teams at that one, and they finished 7th. So have you talked to Adam at all, or Troy?
Young, and they're going to pay their dues before they can collect dividends. But Adam was really optimistic. I just saw him this week. We talk more about grandkids and kids than we do about wrestling. But yeah, hip replacement. No, we talked about there hasn't been a horse hasn't been rode and a cowboy that can't be throwed. We got that from the Jewison guy when he used to be up there at Waterville and they split coaching. I mean, we got all kinds of stuff we talk about. But I told him I could probably make 189 if he needs 189er. And he said I get an extra 3 pounds or something because of whatever my age. I don't know, but I'm willing to do it. Okay, I'll help out. I'll go for the cause.
The Grizzlies will be back in action Thursday when they travel to Medford for a Gopher Conference duel. And Waseca wrestlers, they're off to a 2-2 start. They lost to Fairmont 40-39 and defeated New Ulm 41-34 in their first action of the season.
Did they lose the heavyweight on the Fairmont? Do you remember?
I didn't see any results.
Okay,
I just saw the score. And then they were at Waterville, as we mentioned. They defeated the Grizzlies 44-30. They lost to LeSueur 35-32.
Jeez,
so a 2-2 start for the Jays. They will be off until Saturday when they travel to Casson for a tournament.
The Comets, baby.
So that takes care of our local stuff.
Okay.
Moving into the big time, Teddy, and now we're going to try a little difference.
We're going to go in reverse order, like you
No.
screw me up. Okay.
No, MSU and Gustavus. I'm going to go over quickly what they are, and if you have any of the 4 sports that you want to talk about, you'll jump in at the end.
Okay.
MSU basketball, the men's 6-2 for the year. They got hammered by Augustana, then bounced back to beat Wayne State last night. The women off to a 1-5 start. They lost to Augie and Wayne State. Both the men and women will be at home this coming week. They play Upper Iowa on Friday, Winona State on Saturday. The men's hockey team, 8-6-4. They had another double tie weekend against Bowling Green. And the women's hockey, 2-15-1. And that's a program that hired the St. John's coach Johnny Harrington, the former Olympian. And they've been down for a number of years. I think they only had 1 or 2 wins all of last year. And they are off now. Unless the schedule was wrong, I saw their schedule and they play nothing in December.
Oh, jeez.
They're off till the 3rd of January. So
hockey?
Yeah.
Isn't that a winter sport?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought so. Any of those teams, Teddy, want to comment about? Or?
Well, Augustana, they just said they came out, that they weren't ready to play, according to Morgenthaler. And he said they got a rude awakening real quick. You don't fall asleep against teams right away in the first 10 minutes. And then they came back and played solid, but they're just too far back. And they're a work in progress. They bring in the junior college transfers, and they give maybe a couple freshmen. But Morgenthaler's proven that he can win. So not concerned about them. They'll be back.
Yep.
The girls, though, obviously they lost a lot of seniors last year, and it's going to be a process. But at a Division II school where you got scholarships, you should be able to bring in some talent. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Our Gusty teams, Teddy, the men's basketball 3-2, the women's basketball 4-2.
Mm-hmm.
The men's hockey at Gus Davis 2-5-2, the women's hockey 3-4-3. And I know the men's team beat Augsburg on Saturday, 79-70. And a lot of these Gusty teams are not in action now much this month. They must take a long Christmas break, huh?
Well, they got finals.
Okay.
They always talk about finals, the big thing. And then when you have those breaks, there's no crowd in the stands anyhow, so maybe they just say, we'll just won't schedule anything because the kids all go home for their breaks and everything. So, I don't know. I'm not an administrator, but makes sense to me. Might as well, when they come back in the middle of winter and it's the wind chill 50 below, you might as well go to a ball game.
But you just think that would be so tough to get your season going and then be off for a month.
And stay motivated.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. It's gotta
Creative
be tough.
coaching, baby.
Yep. Our Gophers, Teddy.
Yep. Up and down we go.
Men's basketball 5-3. They get a nice win against Clemson, and then they lose to South Dakota. And somehow I'm having trouble getting excited thinking of the Gophers playing Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin when they can't beat South Dakota State.
That was pretty sad.
But they have discovered a find.
Yes,
It
they have.
looks like Jordan Murphy, a freshman,
Yep.
back-to-back double-doubles, and he did look pretty impressive what I watched against Clemson.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yep.
And I like that Bugs. I just like the name Bugs.
Yep.
But Joey King, he's going to have to lead them.
And that's pretty scary if
Yeah.
Joey King has to be your go-to
Yeah.
guy.
Well, who was the big guy last year that graduated? Big, long, lanky guy, white guy.
We have weights there?
What, member?
No, who was it?
I don't remember his name. No, the big guy coming off the bench, but he was about 6'11", and he post up inside. You know what I'm talking about.
I probably do.
Okay, folks out there, Andy, any idea? No. I want to say Erlinson, but it wasn't Erlinson. Okay.
The women's basketball team, Teddy, 4-2. They play this afternoon against Towson State. And they lost to Duke, who was ranked, I think, 13th or 14th in the country. They lost by 20, but leading the way was Carly the Dagger Wagner with 23. She's averaging about 20 points a game through the first 6 games, and she's leading the team in minutes played.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Banham.
Yep.
Once she rounds back into shape with that injury, okay. Looks like she's getting there. She's probably averaging doubles.
Yep.
Okay. But what a duo for guards.
Yeah.
If they hadn't lost the big girl in the middle with the big hair, that would have been a big difference
no
this year.
kidding.
Yep.
Men's hockey, Gophers 5-7 for the year. They play Friday and Saturday at Michigan. That'll be another tough test for them. Women's hockey, they're 15-3, but they were 15-1, and they went to Wisconsin and lost 2 close games. And I think the Badgers, the last I saw, they were undefeated. I know a couple weeks ago when they came to MSU, they were undefeated. So they're evidently a very good team. I think they lost 3-2 in overtime and 3-1 in the 2 games. So
in the old days, used to recruit Minnesota heavily.
Yeah.
And then turn around and then beat Minnesota coming back. But what, Suter? I think he's from Wisconsin, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got to talk about the volleyball team, Teddy. They're 28-4 for the year, and they've defeated Jackson State and Marquette to start the NCAA tournament. So I imagine they play again next weekend someplace, and now they're getting they're getting in the big time. That was, I think, the regional that they just won.
Their coach is the real deal.
Yep.
They hire quality coaches and pays dividends when it comes down to playoff time.
Your Minnesota Wild, Teddy.
Yep.
14-7-4 for the year. They've had a great week. They defeated the Blackhawks in Chicago. They defeated Toronto, and then last night they beat the Colorado Avalanche 3-0.
Not good last night. Dubnyk goes down. I don't know. Did they ever say what happened to him?
Didn't hear. Just heard a lower body injury.
Well, I was trying to watch 5 programs at once.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, the Big Ten and the ACC and the SEC and everything else, and then they had the Timberwolves on, and they had the Wild on. I'm thinking, how do you do this? You know,
Tough.
Yeah, it really is.
You need one of those 5-screen
TVs.
TVs.
That's what I needed. I didn't have it, but all of a sudden they come back and they said Dubnyk left and Kemper's in, but Kemper did a nice job. So hey,
Monday they have one of those back-to-back games. They go to Colorado on Monday, but good start for the Wild. 14-7-4 to start the year.
Just in the wrong division.
The Timberwolves, we got them back to 8-8 last week, Teddy, and then what do? They lose 3 games in a row this week. They lost to the Clippers, They lost to Orlando last night. They lost to Portland. They're 8-11 for the year, and Monday they have the Clippers coming back to the town.
They don't win at home.
No, they're 2-9, I think, at home.
They just split at home when they got a winning record.
Yep.
But the Cat looked good last night.
Yep.
I watched the Portland game, but they just at the end they just couldn't quite. This Lillian guy or whatever, he was the real deal at the end. Mm-hmm. He had a lousy game going up in about halfway through the third quarter, and he just lit her up.
And of course, we have to talk about the mighty Packers.
We do?
Yes.
I was going through my closet, okay, and for you people out there that you wonder about my wardrobe, okay, this is a sweatshirt anybody wants to put a bid in on, okay. This is probably my favorite piece of clothing here. It's just a simple thing with just a G on it, okay, and that's kind of for all around wear, okay. And then I got my Rogers jersey. I thought it'd be a little too ostentatious to wear that today because of what happened. Then I got my hooded sweatshirt. This is great for weather like today. Then I got my T-shirt underneath here too. So I got all my Packer.
And then he goes with a Twins hat.
Well, yeah, because that's going to be the last thing we talk about. So yeah, unbelievable.
The Packers lost to the Bears 17-13, and then on the last play of the game, beat Detroit 27-23. My wife, the loyal, dedicated Packer fan, threw her hands up before halftime, and walked off and said, "That's it." So I'm texting her the next morning. My first text was never a doubt, and she said, "What are you talking? We're texting. We can't talk in the house. We're texting. What are you talking about?" The Pack won.
She didn't know.
Yeah, right. She says, yeah, right. You're really funny.
Oh gosh.
They won on the last play of the game.
Jennifer, I am really disappointed in you.
Terrible bandwagon jumper.
Let me give you mine. Okay, we're on our way back from TCU, and I always call my wife, let her know on the way home. And she said, the Packers are down 20-0. I thought, oh, jeez. And then she texts me. I don't text. She calls me back and says, well, they just scored. It's 20-7. I said, okay. So then I get back to Janesville. It's 20-14. And whoa, this is great. So then I get home and I get to watch the last 6 minutes. And then when I came down that last play with the face mask, and to me, okay, I'm a loyal Packer fan, but he didn't hit the face mask. He just said Rogers wears his chin straps so loose it ended up around his mouth.
I think his thumb got the face mask. Okay. But what I said to my wife is probably 95% of the officials would have ignored that anyway in that situation.
But obviously, and then the pass couldn't be thrown any more perfect with the trajectory coming down. And Rodgers, I don't know what the Lions were doing in the end zone, but then I'm a firm advocate of what goes around comes around. When the Packers lost to Seattle on that interception, they called a touchdown pass. Then the next day they settled the official strike. Well, it all came back. Everything's all even now. Okay.
So the Pack are 8-4.
Yep.
And next Sunday, they're off this Sunday because they played Thursday.
They need that.
They have the Dallas Cowboys coming to town.
Without Tony Romo, so that should be, well, hopefully.
Yep.
They're having trouble winning at home this year.
Yes, they are. The Minnesota Vikings, which are hanging on to a half-game lead now over the Packers at 8-3, they defeated Atlanta 20-10, and it really wasn't that close. They really did play pretty well defensively that game and had things in control most of the day. They have Seattle in town today, which will be very tough to win. And Thursday night they go to Arizona, which will be almost impossible to win.
Well, see, there you go, you Viking fans, all right? My goal is to see the Vikes win the Super Bowl, and they're my second favorite team. And, Zimmerman's got them going on the right track, right?
Yep, they're playing well. The defense is much, much improved.
Did I say Zimmerman?
Yeah. Okay. Whoever that is.
It's not
he used
Zimmerman.
to play tackle for the Vikes.
That's right, okay. But you got Adrian, and if Adrian can control the game with his running, and he's been doing that, leading rusher in the whole NFL right now?
Yep.
Yeah. So you got him. Teddy can just take his time maturing and throw when he has to. Hopefully they're not behind.
Yep.
But same token, Seattle, I think they're realizing, hey, if we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to kick it in gear.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are.
Yep. And of course, Teddy, your Twins cap. I know you want to talk about the new greatest signing for the Twins ever.
It's ridiculous. Okay, no offense. I mean, I was stationed in Japan for 3 years, and the Japanese over there, they just love baseball, and it filters over to Korea also. But the money we're paying today, I mean, not just for foreign people, but just our own, it's way out of whack.
Yeah,
way out of whack.
No
and,
doubt.
and there used to be $12 million just to negotiate with a guy, and then $12 million, a unknown commodity against a regular major league pitching.
Yep.
You know, how's he going to do against David Price and those guys?
Exactly.
We don't know. But we're willing to spend $24 million to find out. This is the Twins we're talking about. Good grief.
But how about the numbers? I mean, if you strictly go by numbers, you can see why.
Yeah.
The guy hit 53 homers and drove in 146 runs in 140 games or something.
Well, yeah. And who was the guy that the Yankees picked up? They call him King Kong, right fielder? Oh, gosh. Well, they're all the same to me. I hate to say that for the names, but yeah, they picked him up, and he proved that he could do the long ball.
Yep.
But that's a big jump from
Yep.
Korean ball over here to our ball.
Yeah, you bet it is. So
But
we'll see.
We don't have a wallet to pay that.
No.
So we can talk about it.
And finally, the Big Ten, or the football championships yesterday, and what a game, Michigan State and Iowa. Boy, I gained a lot of respect for Iowa because I really didn't think that game was going to be that close.
Nobody did, but geez, they played just solid, fundamental football. And obviously the line for Michigan State, that was the difference. They were warmed down there in the fourth quarter, but how many times do you ever see a 9-minute drive, 22 plays or something like that?
Well, if you're an old school guy, an older guy like we are,
Woody Hayes.
you had to sit and love that game because there was some tackles that I just went,
Yep.
And, of course, like at the end, the 9-minute drive and 21 of the plays were running plays.
Yep.
That's old school.
And Woody Hayes is laying in his grave just smiling. Saying,
Yep.
If you throw the ball, 3 things can happen, 2 of them are bad.
That's right.
And that proved it out in that last drive. But Iowa, geez, honestly, I felt sorry for these people, kind of like Todd Altman, and Mary Jo.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know, it was what a run.
Yeah.
And now if they can just win their last game, they end up with 13 wins. You just can't beat that.
And today, I believe at noon, the committee comes out, and we'll name the top 4, who most people pretty much have figured out will be Clemson, Oklahoma, Michigan State, and Alabama.
I was going to say, missing the team that when they lost to Mississippi, everybody kissed them goodbye, said they're not going to be around at the end. Here they are.
And before we close, Teddy,
Yes.
I saw in the Sunday Trib today, the Gophers, at an overwhelming 5-7, are projected to be in the
Toilet bowl?
Well, I forget what it was called, but it's in lovely Detroit, Michigan, against the mighty Akron Zips.
Yep. There's another thing we need to talk about. How long does it take you to come up with bowl games? They got 40. Yeah, well.
Goodness gracious.
You get rewarded for...
You can't get rewarded for being below 500. If we don't have enough teams that make it, you drop a couple bowls for that year.
I agree.
Who cares if the Quaker City Bowl in Detroit, Michigan is played in January?
January?
Or December. The Gophers going to a bowl.
Don't understate it, okay? You always sugarcoat things. Why do you? I get tired of you sugarcoating. Just call it the way you see it, will you?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
We got a couple things here we've got to get done.
Okay, do it.
Right. Okay, first off, all right, we got hats off to, tomorrow is what? Today is December 6th. Tomorrow is Pearl Harbor Day.
Pearl Harbor and the 6th year that we'll be without our good buddy Todd Mann.
Yeah, and that's what, doggone it all. But at the same time, okay, oh beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if you can figure. For purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain.
Teddy,
America,
I'm never going to sing on this show because I don't want to overshadow you.
Thank you. Andy, I haven't heard you singing lately. But in all due respect, okay, that was one day that will live in infamy. I still remember when they keep showing the flashbacks with FDR, saying that today America and holy cow. Well, I was stationed in Japan for 3 years, and the war wounds have healed. But what a beautiful country, and then you stop and think about the devastation and people lost, loved ones and everything else. It's getting to be an old situation now, but at the same time, we got to remember those things. We got 911 and things like that. That Americans, we got a strong country, and we always bounce back. So here's to our servicemen. Here's to anybody that has any part with our national security. My hat's off to you.
And we'll end on a high note. The Berg twins are home and Happy,
And what are their names?
Zeke, and Emerson.
Really?
I'm supposed it will be going by M or Emmy.
I would guess.
And I'm sure the little girl will have Sugar's quiet personality,
demeanor,
and Zeke will be the madman like Air. Probably hit the ball 280 in another couple years, and
Be like Tiger Woods.
prime up for our. He can replace me, seeing I'm the oldest. He can replace me in the Todd Mann Memorial.
Okay.
Unless you're gonna.
Well, we still need your putting.
Unless unless you're gonna, play half speed again and just.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks
The
to Hudson and Steve Anderson for producing the show.
Shine.
Thanks to my right-hand man, Theodore Ted Hammond.
Yeah.
And thanks to you all for watching. And if you can't stand Andy singing, feel free to call him anytime during the week and let him know that. See you all next week, hopefully.
Go, Cookie, go, Cookie, go, Cookie, go.